If a small group of poor fishermen could change the entire world, what secret allowed them to do it? Why did a faith born from persecution and bloodshed become the greatest spiritual force on earth? And what lies hidden behind over 2,000 years of Catholic history? Secrets, glory, and even darkness. For over 2 millennia, Catholicism has remained a guiding light for billions, offering deep human values and hope. It began humbly with just 12 men, mostly poor fishermen, yet survived the storms of history to become the world's largest religion, with more than 1.3 billion followers. This is not only a story about religion. It is a miraculous journey of courage, sacrifice, earth-shaking events, and controversial shadows. In the mighty Roman world, the first followers of Jesus were mostly the despised, fishermen, tax collectors, and outcasts. Jesus called them to love, even their enemies, and to carry the cross, a symbol of suffering and sacrifice. He warned they would be hated, arrested, and even killed for their faith. After Jesus died on the cross, the apostles faced a terrifying wave of persecution. They hid, preached in fear, and many ended their lives in painful deaths. Peter was crucified upside down. Paul was beheaded. But the blood of these martyrs became seeds of faith, spreading Christ's message from Jerusalem across the Roman Empire in less than 3 centuries. This power came from their unshakable belief in Jesus' resurrection and the promise of eternal life. Peter, a simple fisherman from Galilee, once feared so much that he denied Christ 3 times. Yet he became the first leader of the church. Jesus forgave him and gave him a sacred mission. "You are the rock, and on this rock I will build my church." Peter spent the rest of his life preaching despite danger. When arrested in Rome, he asked to be crucified upside down, feeling unworthy to die like his master. His story proves a weak man can stand firm through faith. For centuries, popes were not only spiritual leaders, but also rulers with immense political power. In the Middle Ages, they appointed kings, declared wars, and ordered the execution of those deemed heretics. Such power brought glorious chapters, but also deep stains. The First Crusade, 1096 to 1099, launched by Pope Urban II, caused hundreds of thousands of deaths. Some popes, like Innocent III, even forced kings to kneel before them, showing influence beyond religion. Catholicism also shaped education deeply. Great universities such as Oxford, Cambridge, and Paris began as institutions to train clergy and maintain church power. The church held human knowledge and used it as a governing tool. The main studies were theology, philosophy, and canon law. Students faced strict discipline and pledged service to the church. Yet in these halls, debates on religion, science, and human rights began to spark. The Crusades, often portrayed as holy wars against Islam, were far more complex. From 1096, thousands of European Christians marched, driven by religious zeal, but also the lure of land, wealth, and power. They attacked not only Muslims, but also Jews and Eastern Christian communities. The Fourth Crusade, 1204, even sacked Constantinople, a Christian city, purely for plunder. Still, these campaigns opened doors for cultural exchange, bringing medicine, mathematics, and philosophy from the Middle East to Europe. Many believe the largest church in the world is St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. In fact, the title belongs to the Basilica of Our Lady of Peace in Yamoussoukro, Ivory Coast, completed in 1989. It holds up to 18,000 people, but sparked outrage for its $300 million cost in a poor nation. Critics said the money should have helped the poor, but for believers, it remains a symbol of faith and devotion. Catholicism also inspired countless masterpieces of the Renaissance. From Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper to Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel ceiling, many works were born under church patronage. Art was not only creativity, but also a tool for power and devotion. Some works were altered or destroyed if they clashed with doctrine, showing the tension between artistic freedom and religious authority. For over 500 years, Catholic Mass was celebrated in Latin everywhere. This created unity, but left many believers unable to fully understand the liturgy. Only in the 1960s did the Second Vatican Council allow local languages, making worship closer to the people, though some conservatives resisted. In 1517, Martin Luther began the Protestant Reformation by nailing 95 theses, fiercely condemning indulgent sales and corruption in the church. This shook Catholicism, causing centuries of division and forcing reform through the Council of Trent. Today, with over 1.3 billion members, Catholicism remains the largest faith on earth. From a small group of Jews in Palestine, it survived persecution, wars, and crises. Missionaries like St. Francis Xavier carried the gospel to distant lands, Japan, Vietnam, and Latin America. Faith grows stronger when we walk together. Subscribe now to Catholic Faith and AMP. Hope. Share this video with someone who needs hope, and let's shine the love of Christ to a world in need. Though history holds both light and shadow, Catholicism endures, proving faith's power to overcome every trial.